Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. So glad that you decided to watch. So in this video, I wanted to tell you about the 7 books I am currently reading. Yes, you heard me correctly. I am reading 7 books at the same time, which is a lot for me. I think that's the most. I generally have about 4 books going on at a time, but I somehow ended up reading 7. And you probably would want to know, how do you get to that point? And I'm gonna say it's because a big part of it is because of library books. And it's just that idea of, I only have it for a certain amount of time, so I want to get to those, but also I really want to read the books I have bought. So it's just the struggle, right? I'm sure you could probably understand that if you've ever rented a library book. I could just rent them again, but it's like, I should just read them while I have them. Also, I read faster and more when I rent from the library as opposed to reading my own books. If it's a book I own, I tend to just take my time with it. And a library book, I'm like, gotta read, it's due soon. I only have a day. Let's power read. Out of the 7, what book am I enjoying the most? I think that one is very easy for me. This one. So this is It Ends With Us, and it's by Colleen Hoover. I've never read a Colleen Hoover book, but I feel like this author has just blown up on like BookTube and like just everywhere, all over at bookstores. I just see this author everywhere. And I think I own 4 or 5 Colleen Hoover books now, and it's all because I started reading this one. I was seriously in about, I want to say the first 2 chapters, and already I knew I like how this author writes. Like, I already liked the characters from chapter 1. Just everything about this book. I understand the hype. I get it. I'm super enjoying this. And this book, I want to take my time because I'm really liking it, and I just don't want to finish it because then I don't know if this happens to you, but when I finish a book I really like, sometimes I get in a reading slump because I'm like, what's going to beat that? Nothing's going to beat it. It was so good. Like, I should just reread it. So that's the struggle I have. So I want to take my time with this. And this is actually the book I read at the gym. So anytime I'm at the gym, yes, I'm reading this like on the machines or whatever. And I'm doing that because I don't really care if this gets like dirty, I guess. Or like, oh, it sounds gross, but sweaty. You know, if like you're on the elliptical and like you're getting sweaty, like, yeah. So sometimes I read my Kindle, so it's easier because it's easier to clean that. But you know, sometimes you just want like a physical copy book. And this one, it's not like a first edition or anything. You know, like there's so many of these. This is a 39th printing. So it's not like valuable or like super special or anything. And I'm also, gosh, don't hate me, but I decided I was going to highlight any parts I like in this, because I'm like, if this is like a book I'm not being nice to, it's going to be this one, because I loved it so much in the beginning. I was like, you know what, this is my copy. I'm not going to give it away because I love it already, unless like the ending totally sucks and makes me angry. Then, you know, rethink it. But I'm planning on keeping this one, so I want to be able to have that freedom to write in it, highlight it, bend pages, do whatever. I broke the spine on this. I don't usually break the spines of my books just cause, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure this one looks well loved. I don't know. I just love this. So it's about a main character meets this guy, and he kind of tells her up front that he doesn't like relationships, and he's more of like a one night kind of guy, and she's opposite. She's more of a relationship girl, and they kind of fall for each other. So yeah, hence the drama, I guess. We'll see where that takes us. But there's also a lot of interesting backstory with her character, and she used to be friends with this guy in high school, and then I recently found out that later, I think later this year in 2022, there's a book that comes out that's called It Starts With Us, and it's kind of like the backstory to this book. So, oh my gosh, I'm super excited. I absolutely love this book. I am planning on reading all of the Colleen Hoover books, and I'm so curious to see if I'm going to like one more than this, because I am at this point on chapter 12. So I'm about halfway through with it, and I love it so much. I just thought of something. Another reason why I think it's so easy for me to switch between all 7 books is because pretty much all of them are different genres. I just showed you romance. So mystery, that's the next book. What is a book that is new that you're reading? Well, that would be my mystery book, which is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I still don't know how to say her name. Every time this author is in one of my videos, I'm pretty sure I say the name incorrectly, and I can never remember which way is proper. I'm so sorry to Lucy. But this one, I had been anticipating the release of this book for a long time. I went out and got it the week it came out. I wanted to make sure that I had like first edition, like brand new, hot off the press. And here it is. And this one I am also halfway through, about this far. These don't have chapters, I'm just realizing. It's just the name of the character. So that's a little bit confusing. I like knowing how many chapters there are, but anyway. I decided I wanted to annotate this one, but as you can see, all of the things that I have labeled are just blue. And that was my tab was, it seems important. And everything else, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, annotating this one's not working. I think maybe mystery is a hard one to annotate. I don't know, because there's no like funny lines or really deep quotes or parts I dislike. Those are all kind of the things I wanted to tab. Yeah, I've literally only used blue tabs. So with a mystery, I like to tag things that I think are important and maybe things that kind of give away like who the murderer is or whatever. So that's what I did with those tabs. But this one, it's just about a girl who calls her stepbrother and she says, hey, I want to come stay with you. And he's living in Paris in an apartment. And she gets there. He doesn't pick her up at the airport. She goes to this apartment complex. He doesn't answer his door. Lights are off. And so she's like, what's going on? Like, why is he ditching me? And she finally gets in, and her stepbrother is missing. Stepbrother, half-brother? I don't remember. Maybe that's a downside to reading 7 books at one time. It's hard to remember details. So this one, I like it so far. I feel like when it comes to a lot of books, I don't get super into them until about halfway through, and then I like speed read the end. So here I'm kind of reaching like the top of the mountain, and I'm pretty sure the next few times that I pick this up, I'll just power through it because I'll be like, okay, who did it? Who did it? Oh my gosh. So this one, yeah. It's a Barnes & Noble exclusive. I wonder what that means. Sometimes it's like bonus chapters or like there's some kind of bonus content in here. So once I read through it, I'll let you know. But I'm liking this one so far. I'm just not super loving it. But I remember I had that same feeling when I read the guest list. In the like first half, I was just like, nah. Okay, I wonder what's happening. And the last half, I was just like, ah. So I'm kind of hoping that this is the same. And I'm looking forward to finishing this one. I'm hoping to get it soon. I just love the aesthetic of this book. The pink with like the dark apartments. Let's see, what's the wildest book you're reading right now? Well, I would have to say that it is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. I don't know how I feel about this book. I think I'm really into it because I keep picking it up, and I'm about halfway through at this point, and I want to get through it more, but there's just something about it. I'm not sure. It's just rubbing me the wrong way. And I don't know, like, here's a trigger warning, and also trigger warning if you are interested in reading this book. I feel like there has been a few instances of like animal deaths, or they talk about like animal bones, or like, and then in like near the beginning there's a scene about birds. Like, so if you've read this, you know that disturbed me. Like, this is a horror novel, so here we go. So we've done romance, we've done mystery, this is the horror novel I'm reading. I don't like when books, movies, TV, anything have like animals getting like hurt or anything. And so this one just, I almost decided to like put the book down because I was like, I don't know how I feel about this book. But I was so intrigued that I wanted to keep reading. And I feel like one of the main points of view, this is a different points of view type of novel. I feel like the main character of like something's not right. Like, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know if I already have, but it's just really interesting because I just want to keep reading it. I'm very intrigued. I want to know like what happened to this little girl. So, I mean, this whole book is about a girl, this like little girl who was like kidnapped. And this guy is like a suspect. And so he's kind of had a very hard life because everyone like thinks he might have done it. And we're getting perspectives of the missing girl's sister, and she's trying to figure out what happened. It's just kind of crazy. It is a whole crazy book, but I've heard rave reviews about it. That's why I really wanted to read it, and I actually saw it in a library. You probably have seen it in one of my previous videos. It was in a Romans bookstore, and I saw it and I was like, first of all, the cover is beautiful. Like, I wanted to buy it just because I wanted to display that cover. And if I ever decide to buy it, I would definitely want to display that. That's like my style. I love it so much. So anyway, that book is kind of wild. So if you're into horror and like mystery, I think you'll like that one. Just gotta hopefully not be, I don't know, squeamish, maybe. I don't know. So I'm actually reading 2 horror novels. So in addition to The Last House on Needless Street, I am also reading Hunted by Darcy Coates. I have had my eyes on this book for so long, and finally I decided to buy it. I bought a Kindle version of it because a lot of Darcy Coates' novels like are less than $5 on the Kindle store. When I go to get a brand new copy, like at Barnes & Noble or something, they're about $15, $16. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy the e-version. And the sad thing is I never find Darcy Coates novel at like used bookstores except one. I found one time and I was like, I'm so getting that. I was so excited. So I think I have 2 or 3 more Darcy Coates on my Kindle, which I will be reading hopefully later this year. It's just the first Darcy Coates novel I read was called Dead Lake, and I didn't like it. Like, I was just so frustrated with the female character. She was the lead, and I felt like all of her decisions were the worst possible decisions that she could have made. And just the whole time I was like, yeah, no wonder you're in a horror novel, girl. Yeah, like, I get it. You made some bad choices. That's how you ended up here, but you don't see that. Yeah. Anyway, so I decided I'm going to give Darcy Coates another try just because all the books sound so good. And I'm like, maybe I just started off with a dud. I want to try again. So I am reading Hunted, and this one sounded really good from the moment I read the synopsis. And it's just about a girl who's very independent. She decides to go hiking in this forest, but she never comes back. And so now it's about her brother and friends, and they decide to go to the woods and find her. But it is a horror novel, and there is a creepy monster in the woods. And I was gonna say, like, the whole premise of this is that they're trying to track her down because she left clues on her camera. They found her camera, and she has all these pictures like taken in the forest. And I just thought, I was like, that is cool. They're gonna try to solve her like disappearance. It was like she was saving herself in a way. And I was like, that's cool. And I love photography, photos, stuff like that. So I was like, right up my alley. I like this. I am about halfway through the novel, and I'm still very intrigued with it. I really like it. I say the word intrigued a lot if you haven't noticed. So I am very into it. And I remember there was one night I was reading it right before bed, and I think I had a nightmare that I was being followed by a monster. So I was like, okay, let's not read this one at nighttime anymore. Let's read a different book. And so I'm not done with it yet, but I really want to finish it. But again, I have a library book on my Kindle that I want to finish first because I have a time limit. What are you reading? Any books in a series? And yes, I am. And it is the second book in a series, and it's called Only Ashes Remain, and this is by Rebecca Schaeffer. So I read the first one, which was this, and I was actually lent this copy by a family friend, and they said, oh, you'll probably like it because, you know, I'm kind of into kind of more like horror genre thriller type stuff, and this is a YA novel. And so I read the first one, and I enjoyed it enough to where I want to keep reading that series, but it was a little disturbing. Yeah, so this series is kind of disturbing because it's about how people have like some people are monsters. They have these special abilities. So the main character, she's able to control her body in such a way that she could like turn off her pain receptors. She could make her muscles bigger. She can make herself stronger. Like if she just focuses on something, she could like change her body in a way. And she's very, very much into dissecting people. So that's like a weird thing. And it's also her mom like captures these monsters and gives them to her daughter to dissect and then like sell. So it's like, are these bad people? Like the main character's like not a good person? Like, cause she's killing people? Well, I mean, technically she's not killing them. She's just dissecting them after they're dead. But anyway, I wanted to keep reading because the first book, especially like the end of the first book, I thought was very like cinematic is how I would put it. Like, I feel like that would make a good movie. And so I wanted to continue by reading the second book, and I actually kind of like it. I'm only about a third of the way through it, and this is my second time renting it from the library, so I'm like, I just want to finish. I don't want to keep like re-renting it over and over. I just want to get that one done. And there's actually a third book. I'm pretty sure like all these series come in threes, right? So I'll read that after. I mean, as long as I don't hate the second book. But so that one's been fine. I still don't know if I would like recommend it. I think only if you like kind of like monster and gore type thing. But maybe you want a scaled back down version, then get YA. I don't know. It could be a lot more intense if this was like an adult novel. What is a book I've been reading the longest out of all 7? Well, that's an easy one. And it's one that I started over a year ago, and it's Bridgerton. So I watched the first Bridgerton season on Netflix, and I fell in love with it Like, I thought it was so good. All I wanted to do was binge watch it. I just was super obsessed with it. And so after I watched Bridgerton, I was like, I should try reading the books just because I love the show so much. Let me read the book. And I download an audiobook, not an audiobook, a Kindle like version, an ebook. And the one I downloaded has the first 3 novels in it. And it's taking me so long to get through. I don't know if maybe that means I don't like it. It could be because I've already seen the show. So I usually like to read the book and then watch the show, but I'm like, I wonder if I like ruined it for myself by watching the show first, because now I know what happens. And so reading the book, I'm like, that's one I'm just taking my time with. That's the ebook that I read when I don't have any other ebooks to read. But I'm like, what am I gonna do? Read this for 5 years? I don't know. There's like, what, 8 or 9 books in the series. I've heard that the first 3 aren't the best. So, I'm like, maybe I should drop that one and start with the next, like, because I already watched season 2, of course. So maybe I'll go with like book 3 because, like, I don't know what that plot line's gonna be yet. So I might do that. That actually might be a good idea because then I think I'll enjoy it more because like I already know the characters, I already know what's gonna happen, but maybe this will be a little different. I don't know. Because next time, before Bridgerton, like season 3 comes out, I definitely want to have read the book that goes with that season. Does that make sense? That is my goal. Okay. What is your least favorite book you're reading right now? So unfortunately, it would have to be the last book I'm deciding to talk about, which is So This Is Christmas by Tracy Andreen. Yeah, so I have an ebook of this, and you could tell from the title, I got it. Well, I started reading this at Christmas time, and it actually like wasn't what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be more of like a cute Christmas novel. This is a YA book, but it's actually about a place called Christmas. It's like a town called Christmas. And this girl kind of hypes it up like, oh, it's like so Christmassy and stuff like that. And this guy books a vacation to go to Christmas. It's in Ohio. And he gets there and it's just like a lame town or something, like nothing cool or Christmassy about it. And so he kind of goes to her. He's like, it's your fault I'm spending my vacation here. They're kind of like, I don't know if I would call it enemies to lovers because they were like friendly with each other, but I think they get on each other's nerves. I don't quite know. Maybe they're frenemies. I don't know. But he kind of says, while I'm here on vacation, you're going to make Christmas happen for me in this town called Christmas. And so far it's kind of cute, but I'm only like not even a third of the way through the book. I'm just very, very slowly reading it because of course I own it. So I don't have a time pressure on it. It's not going to expire or anything. And so I'm just taking my time, and I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. I might just stop reading it altogether, but then I hate doing that because I was like, I paid full price for this because I really wanted a Christmas book and it was like an impulse buy. But I do want to finish it because I want to see them get together. Like if they don't get together, I'll be like, what is this book, right? So yeah, so I'll keep reading it and I will update you when I have finished reading any of these because I'm literally halfway, either a third or halfway through with all of them. And I'm enjoying majority of them. I'm trying super, super hard to not pick up any more books, but I've got 3 library books waiting like on my shelf, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to return them. One is a Darcy Coates novel. One is Bunny by Bunny by Mona Awad? Yeah, I don't know how to say her name. And then I have another book, and it is totally escaping my mind. Hold on. The other book is The Singles Table by Sarah Desai, which is, I think I've already read 2 books by the author. Absolutely loved them. Such good romance novels. Like I I suggest you read those, especially if you liked, what is it, Helen Huang? Where is it? Yeah, Helen Huang, like The Heart Principle. You can't see, but it's like up here on one of my shelves. She wrote like The Kiss Quotient, The Heart Principle. I believe there's another title, but those are very similar to the Sarah Desai novels, and love it. So I do want to read that, but I'm pretty sure it's due in a week, and I want to finish. I just want to finish these 7 books that I'm struggling on finishing. Maybe it's not a good idea to read 7 at a time, but you know, I always say, like, when I watch TV shows, like ongoing TV shows, do you just choose one? No. I mean, at least I don't. Like, I usually watch like 3, 4, 5 like different TV shows, and you know, like every week you're like, oh, tonight's the episode, like I'm gonna focus on this one. So I'm like, isn't that the same with books? Like, I don't have to read 1 book at a time, or even 2 books at a time. Like, you know, try reading 7 at a time. Okay, maybe not 7, because it's a little like, I just want to finish one. I don't know. But if you only read 1 book at a time, I want to challenge you to try to read like 3 or 4 books at a time. If you want to save yourself from some stress, try to get different genres. So, you know, because if you're reading 2 mysteries, you might be like, oh, wait, I thought that guy was the killer. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, didn't she do that? You know what I mean? It gets confusing when you get like 2 mysteries. So, or even like 2 romances or something. So I would say, if you want to challenge yourself to read more than 1 book at a time, pick like a YA, pick a romance, pick a horror or a mystery, pick a nonfiction. I feel like that is a very easy way to get yourself to read different books at the same time. I like it. I think it's fun because, you know, one day I'll be like, oh, like I want to read something happy, you know, then I would like right now, if I want something happy, I grab my Colleen Hoover book. If I want something scary, I'm gonna read Hunted. If I want something that fascinates me or like really like intrigues me, I'm gonna choose The Last House on Needless Street. And if I want a mystery but I don't want like too many gory details or something that's gonna give me nightmares, I'm gonna choose The Paris Apartment. And then the other ones are just kind of like, I'll probably DNF, like, to be honest. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about these 7 books I am in the process of reading. And I look forward to giving you an update once I have finished these books because, yeah, who knows how long it's going to take. But I just saw How to Win the Bachelor and I'm like, wait, I should add that one. Then I can have 8 books because I don't have a nonfiction right now. Bad idea. Okay. I'm just going to finish these 7 books and this video, and I will see you in another one. Bye.